Hello everyone, keep forgotten tech guy here with another video, and today I'd like to talk about such a premium, good looking, spec bumping flagship killer phone, the Xperia XZ Premium. And for those of you who have been keeping up to date when MWC was going on in Barcelona, this phone was launched with a few other phones Sony would have made, and I'll do videos on the other phones that they would have launched later on in the week. But let's look at the XZ Premium with its motion eye camera and its 4K HDR display. Yes. And for those of you who would have had a brief history on Sony, they would have developed the world's first 4K phone, which was the Sony Xperia C5. And now they have the XZ Premium with a 4K resolution, plus it has HDR. That's cool. That's some serious resolution there. So let's start off with the motion eye sensor, which has super slow motion records video at up to 960 frames per second. I have never seen any phone on the planet with 960 frames per second. This is true innovation here. And it also has predictive capture for ahead of the action, which is a few other features that we would have seen on most Sony phones. So as you'd expect, you're going to always get a good camera experience with a Xperia phone. And also the camera is a cyber shot camera, and it also supports take some good pictures in low light, and it's the new XMR RS sensor for mobile, which features bigger pixels, and also the G lens, similar to what we would have seen on the XZ. Now let's talk about that display. The world's first smartphone with a 4K HDR display. Yes, the world's first phone with 4K HDR, featuring the same technology as we would have seen on the Sony Xperia TV. So you're going to get some TV quality here, some real 4K quality, and you can watch some of the best Amazon Prime Video content now in 4K HDR, if you probably would have got your hands on one already, just saying, or if you have an Amazon Prime account. And that ceramic metal, it's ergonomic metal, which is technically the same metal design that we've seen on the XZ and also the X Compact. And it is also waterproof, and it has Corning Gorilla Glass 5, so it's pretty much life resistant, even it being a premium phone. And it has high resolution audio, which is pretty cool. So you're getting some pretty high-end audio plus some pretty high-end display. And it comes with the Snapdragon 835 processor. Yes, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor. And for those of you that have been going on about in the news that how Samsung had first dibs on the 835 processor and all of that, well, Sony seemed to was able to use the 835 processor on their phone. So hooray for all the future XZ Premium owners. And also it always learns from your daily activity with Sony's UI. And you also have Sony's actions And you have the smart stamina. That is a feature that is most common to Xperia phones. So now let's move on down to the full specs. Now memory and storage consist of, well, let's not start with the memory, but let's start with the dimensions. Sorry, it has a width of 77 millimeters. It has a height of 156 millimeters, and it is 7.9 millimeters thick. And it comes in two colors, luminous chrome and the Xperia black. Those are the two colors. Now let's start off with memory and storage. It consists of 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of internal storage, and for the single SIM, and also you get a dual SIM version, dual SIM for the UFS internal memory version. So you can get 64 gigs single SIM and dual SIM. You can choose between single SIM and dual SIM if you wish. And you have micro SDXC support up to 256 gigs. Yes, SD card support up to 256 gigs. And as I said earlier, you can choose between single SIM and dual SIM, but the SIM type it uses is nano SIM. Now the operating system is Android 7.1 Nougat, which is the latest version of Android currently out so far. That is stable. And the CPU is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor. Battery capacity with 3230 mAh. You get smart stamina and also the Qnovo adaptive charging, and it also have Qualcomm's quick charge 3.0 technology with stamina mode and battery care. It is water resistant with IP65 and IP68. Corning dual glass 5 on the front and the back of the phone. It weighs about 195 grams. Out of all the given dimensions earlier, the colors luminous chrome and the Xperia black, as I said earlier. And now for the display, it is a 5.5-inch display with 4K HDR, and it has tremendous display for the mobile X reality technology that Sony uses. It has a dynamic contrast enhancer and an sRGB 138% spectrum for videos. The main camera is a 30 megapixel. The main camera is a 19 megapixel camera motion eye sensor. I don't know why they didn't made it a direct 20, but 90 megapixels is still pretty high for mobile. And it also has a Exynos RS sensor with a pixel pitch of 1.22 UM. It has a triple image sensing technology, which would have seen before on Sony's previous phones. And it also has predictive hybrid focus, 956 frames per second, and 0.5 seconds for quick launch and capture. And I do believe that this camera is 0.5 seconds fast, because I would have used an Xperia phone before and it's pretty fast. It also has anti-distortion, shutter, low light, ISO, HDR photo, and 25nm wide G lens with AF 2.0 aperture and 8x digital zoom. And you can get 5-axis stabilization with 4K recording. The front camera is a 30 megapixel camera and a 22mm wide angled lens with f2.0 aperture. It supports the GSM networks, UMTS networks, and LTE networks. Yes, so from 2G, 3G, and 4G. Connectivities, you have the GPS Plus GLONASS, you have Wi-Fi Plus, Bluetooth 5.0. I have not seen a lot of phones come with Bluetooth 5.0. Yes, finally Bluetooth 5.0. Sony are truly innovative here. It is DLNA certified. It comes with Google Glass support, NFC, and USB 3.1 Type-C. It has fingerprint sensor, but I'm not quite sure if the US version will have a fingerprint sensor, but it's supposed to have a fingerprint sensor, at least for the international version. High-res audio, digital noise cancellation with stereo recording, PS4 remote play, and many other Sony applications that comes in. So I don't really need to go into the onboard applications such as Spotify and so on. So that is it. Keep recording, Tech Guy, signing out with the Sony Xperia XZ Premium. Like, subscribe to my channel for more, and tell me what you think in the comments about the specs of the Sony XZ Premium, and you could also tell me if you might think of buying this phone when it starts sales. Bye.